Hello and welcome to the F1 Esports Series Pro Championship 2022. We have a brand new season for you. Welcome to the qualifying show. It's round number 1. We've got brand new cars, brand new game, brand new drivers at different teams, but two familiar faces that you'll know very, very well. If you've tuned in to previous seasons, it's of course Mr. Nick Hamilton and Mr. Alex Jakes. First and foremost, Nick, how are you, my friend? Are you looking forward to a new season?
I am indeed, and I'm back. Can't believe I got asked to be back. So
Me neither.
Happy to be back. Cheers, mate.
How long did it take
Already?
us?
Wow.
How long did it take us?
Teed it up
There
nicely.
we go. Goodbye.
Yeah, no, but I'm really, really excited to be back. It's going to be an amazing season, and obviously we've got Alex Jakes with us, which is fantastic news.
Brilliant segue. Alex, great to see you. Not usually on this early for the quali show, but here we are.
I too am surprised and in many ways honoured. I'm delighted to be here with my good friend Nick and my esteemed colleague, Matthew Gallagher.
Here we
So,
go. Yeah, he started
it is
already.
good to be back, though. New season in the air. Excitement in the air. Can't wait.
There's a lot of excitement going on. Alex, of course, you know, we had a brilliant season last time out. What are you expecting from a brand new game? A lot of drivers at a lot of different teams.
Yeah, a lot of moves going on. Drivers who are trying to find maybe form of old, others who are trying to make that next step up. Everyone trying to catch the Opmir.
Nick, F1 22, new game, new challenges, a heavier car, more understeery. What are you expecting from this year?
Yeah, I think maybe much of the same, hopefully, in terms of competitiveness. You know, with F1 Esports, it's always been so close, hasn't it? And there's a lot of drivers saying it's completely different. It feels completely different. So, will we get the drivers that usually dominate? Will they start to struggle? Will they not? Will the people that weren't as strong last year, will they be stronger this year? We'll have to wait and see.
Right, let's take a look back at 2021, which was a fantastic season, and it begun with Bahrain, which was one of my favourite races of the year, to be honest. And Lucas Blakely, Alex, entered the scene very loudly.
Cometh the hour, cometh the man. We'd seen hints of his talent plenty of times before, but this was all about the tactics and holding your nerve. And he announced himself with this drive, didn't he? He laid down a marker that he was going to be a contender all year long. But as you say, Matt, it was just a ripping race from start to finish.
Final lap showdown for the victory, Nick. It's something that became a bit of a trend in F1 Esports. And Bahrain, Lucas Blakely, were you really impressed to see how quickly he came up the blocks?
Yeah, I mean, look how much it meant to him straight away. But he was super consistent throughout the whole season. So it was great to see him come into the fore and show that he was a front runner. And yeah, as I said, he stayed consistent pretty quickly. So yeah, it was great to see him up there.
Now, another one of my top picks was Silverstone. This race was certainly something to behold. And Freddie Rasmussen, as we know, an incredibly talented driver, and managed to sneak a last lap victory. Shock, another F1 Esports last lap battle. Danny Moreno, maybe look back at this and wish that he wasn't leading into the last lap, but Freddie doing what Freddie does best, Nick, which is being so calm and composed.
Yeah, he's a super calm and composed character. I wonder if he's going to get closer to the screen this year. Hopefully not. But no, he's so talented, isn't he? And always keeps himself calm, composed, as you said. And yeah, a great last lap win from him. And I think it's all about tactics, and he played that to a T.
Calm and composed, Alex. I mean, will we see any celebrations from him this year, do you reckon? Or
No. Wins, yes. Podiums, yes. Poles, yes. Celebrations, no.
No?
He's too cool
Absolutely
for
none.
it.
Right, next race. This is probably one of the most historical races ever in F1 Esports history, and it's Jarno Opmeer doing a last to first challenge in F1 Esports. It was one of the miraculous drives where he rolled the dice. He went on intermediates. Most of the front runners started on wets, and it worked out beautifully. It dried out and put him in the pound seats.
Yeah, he did indeed. And this sort of, I would say, made almost a mockery of the other drivers within the series. But all the drivers, they're so amazing. It just shows how strong Jarno Opmeer was in this type of conditions, and his strategy was perfect. Taking it off to a T, and now leading on the dry tyre coming across the line to take the win. What an amazing victory from Jarno.
What was that like to commentate, Alex?
It's a thriller. I mean, all you ever want is a good race. You don't care who wins, but you want a good race. But maybe you're not expecting something as exceptional as that. He had to dig himself out of a hole that day. All his other rivals in the championship would have been thinking, hello, here's the opportunity. And then to deliver that, outstanding. And as you said, one of the all-time great F1 Esports races.
And Nick, what what makes Jarno Opmeer different from other drivers? A back-to-back champion. What do you think just gives him that extra 1%?
I think he's got obviously raw pace and raw talent, but he has a lot of understanding of the game, the limitations of the game as well, and the strategic side of him as well. You can see he calls a lot of strategic plans himself, and I don't know, I don't know what it is. He just seems to have that a little bit more than everyone else.
He certainly does. Next up, Imola. Now, was this the time where Lucas Blakely fell out of championship contention, had a bit of a poor race, finished 10th, and instead we had the likes of Jarno Opmeer coming through the field and passing Lucas Blakely, in fact, in this particular highlight. And these are the moments, Nick, where you just have to grind out a result. Even if you're maybe not on the pace, just having one or two off races can be the difference.
Yeah, it's damage limitation for Lucas Blakely at this period of time in this highlight. And yeah, this is where it started to unravel for him, but he was definitely one of the top drivers throughout the whole season. This is Josh Adowa, who led all the way up to the last lap of the race, and unfortunately sort of crumbled under pressure, maybe with David Tonitza taking the win. But what a great performance for Josh at that time, because I think he was just brought in, wasn't he? Just brought in for that race and showed what he could do.
Speaking of Tonitza, where have they been? Brendan Lee, they are both champions, and they haven't been able to really bring to the table what we were expecting from them when they moved to Ferrari.
And that's what this new game gives them. Gives them a chance to reset, along with the way that it works, along with the regulations. And you'll speak about the new format that we've got later in the year. Later on, little teaser for everyone. They need something like that because the momentum has been checked by Opmeer's back-to-back.
Absolutely. And Nick, are you thinking that Jarno can be overthrown this year? Or is it going to be a triple world championship for the Mercedes driver?
I mean, it could be. I just want it to be a really close battle all the way to the final race of the season. You know, F1 Esports doesn't... It always gives you what you want in terms of the close battles, sometimes a bit of anger, a bit of a rage every now and then. But I think Jarno is obviously the man to beat, but let's hope it's as close as we all want it to be.
Now, there's plenty of driver changes for this year, so let's take a look at what exactly has been going on after last year, and there have been plenty of changes. Have a look behind us. Danny Beresnate moving from McLaren to Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo have been very busy indeed, have they not? And then you've, of course, got Josh Adowa, who we saw in Imola, made that mistake, but still has secured a seat at AlphaTauri. But is there anyone that particularly takes your eye there, Alex?
I like what Alfa have done, because on their day, we've seen outstanding drives from Longuet and Beresnay, but both of them searching, perhaps, for an environment where it works again and they can be consistent contenders. And so that catches my eye for what we've seen Alfa contend for the title before. So I think that's a strong lineup for them.
Certainly is. You've got Manuel Biancalila there moving to Aston Martin, who's a veteran of this series. You've got Luke Smith, who we were commentating on earlier in the year in the Pro Exhibition. Yeah. Plenty of drivers to talk about, and that's not it. There's another whole page to take a look at as well. Nick, have a look at this page. Who takes your eye?
I would say Jake Benham definitely takes my eye there. I've actually got a story about Jake Benham.
Story time with Nick. Let's go.
Story
Come on.
time. Let's go. So I was actually at Mercedes watching Lewis on the sim. I can't remember what race it was, but the program leader for F1 Esports or for the esports program for Mercedes said, "Do I want to go and look at the sim room?" So I went down to the sim room, had a little bit of a watch, and Jake was actually on the sim rig himself doing a lot of testing. Now at the time, he wasn't signed. I don't think it was going to be a thing, but he seemed super fast, super consistent. They were doing loads and loads of runs. His mum and dad were there. It was a big day for them. And now you see him in the F1 Esports Pro Series. Great.
Benham gets on really well with Opmeer as well. They've made a lot of content together, and that kind of friendly environment, especially when you're working together as a team to secure the Constructors' title, is something that you can't really put a measure on.
Yeah. Two friends at Mercedes, and then there's a chance to... Anyway, I won't finish that. It's super useful for Benham to have a mentor like Opmeer, because that is so useful in his progression that we expect. It might not be immediately, but we expect him to be a contender eventually.
There's a few shots, actually, from some of the new players in their new team kits. Probably looking very happy indeed. I'm sure that we'd all love to be signed for a Formula One team, although Josh Adowie doesn't look too happy, I'll be honest with you, but he looks like he's racing.
Can he hear you presenting? Is that what's going on?
No, he's probably listening to your commentary, to be fair, mate. And there's Danny Beresne, probably breaking another brake pedal. You saw the force that he puts through. I would not want to be that brake pedal, to be honest with you. And there's Fabrizio Donoso in the Ferrari gear. How happy will he be to be in that amazing red jersey? And he's got a lot of talent, Donoso. He was runner-up in the first ever year of F1 Esports, and he'll be looking to bounce back. There's Nicholas Longay as well in his new team gear. It feels weird. It's been a whole shuffle.
Yeah, and it tells the story of the careers and a lot of drivers that we saw there looking for something with those team moves as well.
Absolutely. Now, these drivers have also taken to social media to share their thoughts and opinions in the run-up to this new season. And there's Lucas Blakely. Well, God, his contract's a large one. He's got a new McLaren behind there. Let's begin. Well. Proud to officially announce I've joined McLaren Shadow. Immense honour to represent and be part of this team alongside Speed Barry and Wilson Hughes. Looking forward to F1 Esports. Big signing for McLaren, it has to be said. I think Lucas, again, showing a lot of pace in the pre-season and the leagues he's been taking part in, and definitely going to be one that you have to watch. Then Jake Benham, Nick, with first season in the Pro Championship. How do you think he's going to get on?
I think he's going to get on really well. I think he's going to take it like a duck to water, if I'm honest. As I said, he's got a lot of raw pace and a lot of experience away from, the Pro Series. But in terms of the game and in terms of being under pressure, a lot of the championships he's done before will help him towards this first season for him. So I think he'll be fine.
Absolutely. Benham, Otmir and Moreno. That's quite the lineup to work with. Then you have Jarno Otmir. No stream all week because of F1 Esports. Jarno, over the sort of last year or so, has built up an incredible audience over on Twitch, and it's been quite something to behold. I know, Alex, you're a massive, avid watcher of Jarno Otmir's streams. What's your favourite piece of content that you make?
It's hard to pick, isn't it? It is hard to select a favourite. But I love that tweet. Basically says game time, all right? No luxury of streaming now. I'm the reigning champion. It's the first week of F1 Esports. You get no content other than potentially him winning. We don't know.
We will see. Well, thank you, Alex, for
Matt,
spending some time with us. We're actually going to say goodbye to you until the major.
Half a job?
Yeah. I know. It's half a day rate for you there, mate.
It's enough for an invoice, I'll tell you.
So thank you, Alex, for your wonderful sense of humour. Let's take a look at our first track map of the day. And it is Bahrain once again. We are starting at the Sakhir circuit. And it's a great track to start on, isn't it, Nick? It's got 3 DRS zones, plenty of opportunity for overtaking. We've seen such close qualifying sessions. I mean, I say that for every track pretty much, but I know Bahrain in particular, they are separated by hundredths around here. Yeah,
and if the race is anything to go off from last year, we're in for a hell of an experience. Obviously, the circuit is known very, very well on the F1 Pro Series calendar, and it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top this time out.
Yeah, and I was speaking to a few drivers before the season started, and they were saying, just because people were fast last year doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be fast this year. And I find that quite an exciting prospect. I say that now, it's probably going to be the same top 10 as it was last year. But the fact that there is a different driving style required with these new 22 cars, that you have to not only be fast at a particular game, but show the adaptability as we now move to F1 22.
Yeah, and obviously the hardest thing with a game is not that it's not a seat of the pants sort of feeling. You've got to understand the game's limitations and how good and fast you can be on that game. And it doesn't mean that it's going to translate easily from 2021 to 22. So, I mean, obviously you can see how close it was last year. The top 10 separated by 0.2 of a second, which is absolutely incredible. These guys absolutely putting on a show. But yeah, let's see how close it's going to be today, which is going to be really interesting.
That's kind of the standard we're up, that's the standard of the quali show, right? We're not happy if it's any more than 0.2 separating the top 10. This was highlights from Q3 last year, and Barry Burman, known very much for his qualifying pace, and he was right up there as well. You got Moreno, who was fastest, but as you can see, as drivers finish their final flying lap, it's improvement after improvement after improvement. And Longay, he's a qualifying master, isn't he, at this F1 Esports Championship? But something he hasn't maybe mastered so much is the fact that his races just didn't seem to go to plan every single time. where his starting positions were pretty solid through most of the year.
Yeah, it's just his conversion rate, and I think that's something that he's going to be working on. Obviously, he's got a new team, and so strategies may be different with his new team as well. And definitely, he's got the talent. He's definitely got the speed as well. But now it's using that strategy to his best ability and trying to, convert and use the speed as well as getting the results at the same time in race day.
Now, most guests would just walk in normally, but this particular one wanted to do a proper walk-in. So let's say hello to Tom Deacon, shall we?
Yeah, I'm on now. Yeah, I'm live. Yeah, I'll catch up with you in a bit. All right, take care. Catch you in a bit. Yeah, here we are. We're back.
God.
2022. Let's have it.
Couldn't just walk in normally like everyone else. You wanted to come down the proper entrance.
Who was on the phone?
Nobody.
Look at this. What you got there?
Oh, just a little sandwich to get me through today. Do you know what it is, Matt? I just wanted a little sandwich because the quali show, for me, is...
Makes you hungry.
I get nervous. I genuinely get nervous. That's just sitting next to Nick Hamilton. But also the fact that, this sets the tone for the season this year.
What, sandwiches?
Not sandwiches. Sandwiches help me get through it. But for the drivers, this is the first quali of a long season. Goes wrong today.
I hope you are going to eat that sandwich. It's going to go off by the end of the quali show. So,
it's already gone hard, to be honest.
You're doing lead commentary
with this
for Q1.
Atmosphere in here.
But Tom, how are you, mate? Are you looking forward to the new season? I mean, it's going to be an epic one, surely.
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to it. As a personal note, to be working, getting the gang back together is brilliant. Jake C didn't stick around long, did he? No. He's gone now. But yeah, for the actual season, I'm just buzzing to see whether Jarno Opmeer can make it 3 titles in a row. But I don't think any of the other drivers are going to make it easy for him.
Now, usually for the quali show, you bring your notepad, but your notepad is now underneath a sandwich. So I'm not sure how you're going to work with that. But have you got any words of wisdom in that particular note? You've got a lot of pieces of paper hanging out of it, so I hope they've...
Listen, I make notes old school. I'm not using a laptop, not an iPad. I am all about the notes. And when I open it in a second, I can't now, because it'd be rude to talk to you with my mouth full, I'm going to get into there. But, excitingly, this is Brendan Lee's 50th Esports race. This one coming up today, so here.
Wow.
Yeah,
You've done your research.
He's the first F1 Esports driver to do it.
Is that in there?
Yeah, it's in the sandwich. Yeah, that's the notes there.
Amazing. Well, whilst you eat that sandwich, let's take a look at the driver lineup for this Bahrain Grand Prix. And I'm still getting used to the new outfits for all the drivers, but Longuet and Beresnay. You've got Jobin Adowu for Alpha Tauri, Alpine, Sipos and Presneda, Biancalila and Weigang for Aston Martin, and Brendan Lee and Fabrizio Donoso. So David Tanitsa not getting the call-up for the first round of the season as a world champion.
Yeah, what a surprise. Unbelievable. But this actually puts a lot of pressure on Donoso to perform, doesn't it? Because obviously they've taken out Tanitsa for this round, and can Fabrizio Donoso step up to the plate?
I feel like I should ask Tom a question now because his mouth is full with a sandwich.
It's not. Don't tell Porky Pies.
This is the second page and a brand new lineup for your favourite team, Haas, Tom.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Haas. I always, cheer for the underdog. And in this case, 2 very exciting, pacey drivers in Thomas Ronar and Peter Staholec that competed in the Pro Exhibition. Thomas Ronar won it, and I like the fact that this is fearless. They've never raced in an F1 Esports Pro Championship, and they're going to go for it.
No change to the Red Bull lineup there. As you can see, Rasmussen and Kiefer are very strong pairing those two, Opmeer and Moreno. So your simulator friend Benham not getting the call up for round 1.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of experience, isn't there, in that team anyway, and obviously Danny Moreno been very, very strong as a teammate for Jarno Opmeer. So I think it'd be, a big surprise if they put Jake Benham in for the first race, but I'm sure we'll see him later on in the season.
Right, you asked and we delivered. We've got a new format for you. You probably noticed that we've got 3 days per event now, and we've got 50% races. How exciting is that? The amount of people online that have been asking for it, and finally we are bringing that to you, which will mean a lot more strategy and a longer race. So more opportunities for mistakes. Everything else is pretty much the same. Dynamic weather, 2 tyre compounds required, equal car performance, and damage is very much on. Simulation damage. So
not even a little bit, fully on.
Fully. Yeah. And I've seen you in a simulator. Probably don't run simulation damage, Tom.
Why would I? I'm there to have fun. And I haven't got the time to just keep investing, which these guys do. I am shocked that Joni Tormula is not driving. I know that Josh Idowu is in there and Sebastian Jobe, and he had a fantastic debut season last year. But Joni Tormala, like he's as old as time. He's 25. He's as old as time. Why is he not driving today? And as you mentioned as well, David Tanitsa, such a surprise. This makes it for me even more exciting.
I think I remember as well Tormala saying he wasn't going to shave until he next won. So I don't know if we've seen
Have you
the
seen
length of his
a picture
facial
of him
hair yet, but maybe he'll get a run out at some point. But he's
But he was looking for a bit more consistency this year compared to 2019, 2020 and last year. So he was trying to get back to the good old days and not racing first race. I'm disappointed.
Absolutely not. But if you want to get involved, you can send in your questions and comments via the Twitch chat or using hashtag F1 Esports on Twitter. And I know Tom will be giving his thoughts and opinions as well. I can't believe you're here for Q1, Q2 and Q3. I'm actually really excited. Can we get you in for lead comms?
Oh, 100%. If allowed, if wanted, if needed, and if no one else could do it. And also the fact that I lost rock, paper, scissors with Alex. That's why I'm sat here for longer today.
Oh, OK. Good stuff. Right. I believe qualifying is underway. So Q1, we can go and join pretty much now, which is very exciting. Are you looking forward to this one, Nick? We're actually waiting for it to start. So it hasn't started yet. I got baited.
Cool. So we've got a bit more time to fill then. Is that what you're trying to say?
Look, Nick, just take over. Come on.
OK. So welcome to Nick Hamilton's qualifying show.
This is what you've always wanted.
This is my show. It's always been my show, Matt. I just allow you to do my part.
Thank you.
But
Thank you.
They did say who do I want on my show, and
and you allowed me.
You're a nice-ish person.
Ah, brilliant. Good.
So you're okay at what you do. So
okay. That's the biggest compliment you've ever given me. Tom, let's go to your notepad actually.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Because I could just see you were ferociously looking through that. Lots of highlighting.
Yeah.
Lots of colouring in.
Well, at Christmas I got a new pen, so I thought I'd use it. However, it is interesting to see. I mean, what do you guys make of it? The fact that Red Bull, no changes whatsoever.
Well, why change it? They're winning.
we have a saying.
Winning, but they didn't win the championship. The team,
If it ain't broke, don't fix.
Well, neither of them won a title.
But they're consistent.
Yes. Okay, cool. That's answered my question. I'll jot that down.
I win.
But it's interesting.
They are
that
a team of winners, right? They've got a great lineup. Maybe it didn't work out as well as they wanted last year, and I think Kiefer, for example, had a moment in Austria, for example, which was quite out of sort of sorts for him. That I think he went for a dive bomb at turn 2 and misjudged it, lost a bit of front wing. Those kind of moments obviously add up over the course of a season. But they're two fantastic drivers. I can't see why you would change that as a leading two, Nick.
No, definitely not. And obviously they've got so much experience, and experience counts for a lot of things, especially in F1 Esports and how close it is. We always mention how close it is, but honestly, the experience is, you can't beat the experience. So if I was definitely leading the Red Bull team, I'd leave them just as they are. And they work well together if they need to as well as a team. You can see it's a real team force that they have with them as well.
I was being flippant in a cheeky way.
Oh, were you?
I was a little bit. Obviously, the sarcasm detector wasn't on there. 42 races for Marcel Kiefer, a combined total of 353 points compared to Freddie Rasmussen, who has had the most wins in F1 Esports with 10, and he's had a combined total of 659 points. I mean, they don't muck about, those two, and they will want to get that team championship back again.
They will indeed, and as you can probably see on screen right now, we have got some cars out on track. F1 Esports Series Pro Championship 2022 is underway. Well, not really. They're still going around for their outlap. But they are preparing, and that looks like a set of soft tyres on Fabrizio Donoso on their outlap. But yeah, it's a 16-minute, 19-second session left in this first qualifying session. But I'm fully expecting it to be incredibly competitive in this particular session. If you just looked at last year and how close it was just over a tenth between the top 8. And we know it's a new game. We don't know who really is going to be right to the top. I've seen Lucas Blakely winning a lot of races. I've seen Barry Burriman looking incredibly good as well. Jarno Wotmir, always there or thereabouts, but maybe not dominating in the way that some people may expect. But this is where it all comes down to, right? This is the most pressure. F1 Esports, you're not going to get any more wobbly legs than right now. And this is where you make it happen.
Yeah, this is where everyone gets to reset, don't they? Hey, new season, new game, same drivers, different drivers. It's going to be really interesting. And obviously, this is where it's going to be a bit touch and go for the drivers in terms of their their nerve. First qualifying session of the year. Q1 especially is really, really important. You don't want to be making any mistakes on your first laps, which is what Brendan Lee was doing actually a lot last season, which actually put him on the back foot, where he then had to really do a one lap shootout, a great flying lap to actually get him out of Q1 a couple of times. So let's hope that this year is a little bit different as we follow him around the last corner, straight into the pit lane for Brendan Lee.
Yeah, now if you are new to the Quali Show, new to F1 Esports, and you've never watched before, it is not raining in Bahrain. Those are intermediate tyres, but that's Brendan Lee just going around the circuit, making sure everything's working okay. It's definitely not raining in Bahrain, but Jana Watmir, now the only driver out on track, also on the green-walled intermediate tyre. Bit weird, don't see that in real life, but alas, it is what some of the drivers do. They're now waiting for the time to tick down. Of course, you have track evolution. This track is not going to be as quick now as it is in the final few seconds of Q1, and expect it to ramp up between Q1, Q2, and then finally Q3. And this is 50% of the battle, if not more, in F1 Esports. We know how difficult it is to overtake. We know the problems that DRS trains can bring as well. So making Q3 is absolutely vital in this series, isn't it?
It is indeed, and making sure that you got enough tyres basically to last you for your runs. If you make a mistake on a set of tyres, then you're going to have to bin those pretty quickly, and you won't have as much to do a good lap for Q3. So it's really, really important what the drivers do now and how they use the strategy and time that they have. Only 13 minutes in this session remaining. So they're under a lot of pressure. As soon as they get into quali mode, they've got to make sure that they hit all their braking points right, all their traction zones are strong, and trying to get a good lap time on the board straight out. So this is Jana Watmir. We're going to head into the pit lane now, and hopefully in the next, minute or so, we'll see some other drivers coming out on their quali tyres.
I feel like we need to shorten Q1 to about 6 minutes, don't we? And then they'll all just rush out. But in practice, you may want to know that Freddie Rasmussen was fastest by only 0.02 of a second. So fully expect it to be as close as it was last year. That is also intermediate tyres for Philip Prejnader. So yeah, no rush for these drivers at the moment. But alas, we will get very busy very soon. This exciting lineup, as we said, for Haas, Thomas Ronart and Peter Stauchalek. They are two very fast drivers that have come through the ranks, and they pushed each other very hard when they were coming through the ranks. So for them to now be teammates is very exciting for them. There's Fabrizio Donoso. What's he going to be like in the Ferrari? It's just that extra level of pressure, isn't it, when you're driving for Ferrari?
Yeah, and especially if you've replaced David Tonitza for this race. So he's definitely got a lot of pressure on his shoulders, but Donoso's got a lot of experience. He's very, very quick. We've seen him get some fantastic results in previous years. So I think he's going to be up for the challenge for sure. And it's going to be really interesting to see how he gets on. And this is why it's so exciting. Hey, new cars, new drivers, or same drivers but in different teams. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how everyone gets on.
It's also nice to see the Ferrari in that special edition livery. Haven't seen it on the Bahrain track because it was, of course, a Monza special, but it is in the game. Love the yellow Ferrari writing on the rear wing. Looks so good. But moving away from that, Tom, to Joni Tormala, we were speaking about that. Why do you think he's not been put into this seat? With all that experience, with all the know-how, why do you reckon he's not in there at the moment?
To be honest, Matt, I can only speculate. Talking to him just before the season started, he did say he's been very inconsistent. Especially last year. He's hoping to return to that 2019, early 2020 form with consistent points, scoring at least, because there was a few times where he was the DHL fastest driver, and that's the kind of the award that no driver really wants, because it proves it just didn't go right, it didn't go to plan. And I think, Josh Idlewood making that move from McLaren Shadow to AlphaTauri. Sebastian Job had a very good debut season in F1 Esports last year. I think they obviously feel more confident with that, but is it a sign of maybe Joni Tommila? Would it knock and dent his confidence more that he's lost his place? You know, let's not forget, Joni Tommila was part of that Red Bull team that first won a team championship and then got moved to AlphaTauri. And I just hope that he gets a chance at some point to show us why we've loved him over the last couple of years.
Absolutely, and it also showcases the young talent that are coming through, you know, with the rising popularity of F1 Esports, more and more people playing the game, more people wanting to do it competitively. And it means there's a lot of people trying to get your seat as well. I'm sure every F1 fan out there wants to be signed by an official Formula One team and represent them in the F1 Esports series.
Of course you do. I mean, this just shows how great it is for F1 as a sport to be getting even more excitement and coverage and people wanting to be a part of the sport itself. And, you know, it filters down to F1 Esports and how competitive it is here and what a fantastic job everyone does within the esports world for F1. But it means it's even more important for these drivers that you've seen for so many years in F1 Esports to really step up to the plate, because there's so many drivers, as you alluded to, that, you know, want to take their place, you know. So the likes of Cedric Tomei, for example, that we've been seeing for multiple years, he's no longer in the series, and so it's a lot more difficult, I would say, with thousands and thousands and thousands of people wanting to take these driver seats.
So I know that everyone's been enjoying the intermediate runs, but we finally now have drivers out on softs. Brendan Lee doing his tyre prep run, which is something that's very important. You don't just bolt out the pits and that's it. With this game, the tyres are cold when you come out the pits. You have to prepare them in the right way, and that's exactly what Brendan Lee is doing. Not taking too much out the tyre, but doing enough to just get in that optimal window. Tom, you look like you were about to say something.
Yeah, I was just taking that point that Nick was making and running with it, so to speak. I've just noticed this year the amount of development roles that exciting, talented drivers have taken up with teams. Like, for example, Duncan Hofland at Aston Martin. He stepped in to try and help that team behind the scenes get the optimum out of their drivers. In the same way that, you know, that third driver is going to have to step up. I wouldn't even want to call it the reserve driver, but look at like Nick de Vries. You've got to be ready to go when the time is called upon. And someone like Fab Donoso, he had a second place, he had a podium last year at China last year. So the guy has got the talent. I just think maybe he prefers this circuit to David Tonitza and now has to go and deliver.
Certainly is. We're running on board with Brendan Lee now. He is on a flying lap and will be the first driver that we get to see a proper lap time from. There's a yellow flag in Sector 3, potentially where drivers are slowing down to get a bit of space for their flying lap. There's Brendan Lee now into this very tricky turns 9 and 10. Very easy to snatch a break. No such problems for Brendan Lee. I promise you he's not revving that much in the car. That's just a little bit what the spectator cam is like. DRS wide open. Now into this fast left-hander. Keeping it in very high gears. 5th gear, keep that momentum through that left-hander. And then it's full throttle all the way up the hill through that middle sector split. And is he setting any purple sectors? That's a question I will be able to answer for you. And the answer is no. His first sector's been beaten by Nicholas Longay. He's one of the only drivers to come through the middle sector. Brendan Lee now round the final corner. Drives towards the line, get ready for the DRS right there. Wide open, and it's going to be a 27.506. Now, will he be happy with that lap? I'm not so sure. First driver over the line. Second driver is Nicholas Longay, 27.7 for the newly appointed Alfa Romeo driver. We now take a look at Alvaro Carreton. Had such a great start to the season. We saw him in that highlight reel in the top 3, fighting. He'll be looking for a very similar start to the year this time.
Yeah, definitely. And then I think just to be a bit more consistent towards the middle and latter part of the season. But he's definitely got a lot of talent and a lot of pace, has Alvaro Carreton. We've seen him do some fantastic things. And there you go. Go straight to the top on a 27.4. And this is now Danny Beresne. Now, he had a bit of an up and down season last year, didn't he?
Mainly down, wasn't it?
Mainly
yeah,
down. So it's good to see him back at Alfa Romeo, and hopefully he can have a strong showing this season. He actually goes ahead of his teammate Nicholas Longay in P6.
Yeah, Longay now down to P8 as Simon Weigang slots himself into P7. Alvaro Carreton ahead of Barry Burman. Brendan Lee in P3. We've still got just under half the drivers to set a lap time. Freddie Rasmussen, what's he going to put on the board immediately? It's the fastest lap time with a 27.414. We've already got, well, I was about to say, yeah, 3 drivers. Yeah, 4 drivers in the point fours. Thomas Ronard's now gone quickest. Forget that. Lucas Blakely now goes to the top of the times in Q1. Remember, you only have to be in the top 15 right now. Only. Yeah. Only. I mean, that sounds like a lot of spaces, right? But it's probably only going to be a couple of tenths between them all. But Blakely already setting a blistering pace in Q1, and now he's getting out of the way for some drivers coming through. There's the Mercedes. As we now wait for Moreno, Prishneda, Clay and Sipos to set their first lap time, although I believe Clay and Moreno may well have made a mistake because they've already done a lap on those soft tyres. But we wait to see if they put a lap time on the board or if they go in for a fresh set of softs. Jana Watmir currently down in 12th, the reigning champion. 27.6, 3 tenths off at the fastest time. Maybe would have wanted to put in a bit of a quicker lap time to settle the nerves a little bit.
Yeah, it's not the greatest of bankers from Jarno, from what we've been seeing from him previously. But if Jarno or if anyone can put a good lap together under pressure, then Jarno is the man. So we'll have to wait and see. But Lucas Blakely showing how strong he is here at Bahrain. Now I'm going to do a bit of a promotion of myself. I actually got Lucas Blakely to teach me Bahrain on the old F1 game at the start of this year.
How did that go?
Try and teach me how to get a little bit faster on the game, and he actually spent a lot of time with me, a good 3 hours if I'm honest.
3 hours?
Yeah, it was great. We did like a co-stream on Twitch, and it was amazing. He's such a nice guy, and he was saying that he didn't have his sim rig set up because he obviously was changing teams, and now today I know why.
Yeah, Lucas is a lovely chap. We know him well, don't we, Tom, from many years gone by. What's your experience has been like with Blakely?
Oh, there's so many to pick out. I mean, I just remember the day that he didn't get drafted here in the studio. I believe Max Verstappen was here, Pierre Gasly. There was an excitement. He didn't get selected after we went to Silverstone, go-karting as well, watching those guys. That disappointment didn't hold him back, spurred him forward. He got drafted the next year, showed what he was capable of. Look at him now, and he's got a new team. I'm sure he'll be pushed to be the #1 driver and really go for it with Barry Boromund. And how's that partnership going to work out? But as you say, Lucas is a great guy. I don't think he'd be a driver that would go into a new team and start ruffling feathers. He's just got some. If you ask him a question, he's got time for you, and that's the beautiful thing about Lucas.
Absolutely. I spoke to Lucas a few days ago, and he was immediately like, "Yeah, Matt, what do you want to know? I'll tell you anything." He can talk for England, I'll tell you that, and probably every other country as well. Lucas is a bit of a chatterbox, bless him, but he's currently at the top of the standings at the moment with only a couple of minutes to go. This will be the final set of laps. Where do the drive? So down to P6, they're all in the pits. So this is where you try and save a set of tyres. This is where it's good to have an extra set of softs for later on in qualifying. Stalkelec's gone out in P6. Doesn't feel comfortable on a 27.493. If you're Lucas Blakely, you are sitting back and relaxing with that 27.314. Brilliant lap time. Let's talk about Ronard as well for Haas. Up in P2. What a statement of intent from him.
Fearless. I mean, that's what I said about this Haas team. They've got 2 very exciting drivers, and it's always that moment. This is your first quali in the Pro Championship, and you think to yourself, "Oh, am I going to take it easy? Am I going to, slowly, easily get myself into this?" But no, they've just gone flat out, and that, I didn't expect anything less from both of those guys.
Did you not?
No, I genuinely didn't. Met them at the Pro Exhibition at Silverstone. Both lovely to chat to, and I mean, their eyes are on the prize. And you just see that dedication from both of them. And they've put the hours in to get ready with the new F1 2022 game. And look, it's paying off. I mean, I know it's Q1, but yeah, watch out for those 2.
So Danny Bresnay on a flying lap at the moment. Currently 10th. I'd say that's a little bit of pressure on a 27.5. Remember, the times will start to tumble at the end of this session. Track evolution kicking in as the laps are turned by all of these 20 drivers. You've got 4 of them. Danny Moreno hasn't even set a lap time yet in that Mercedes. That is pressure on the, much a front-running team like Mercedes. How is Danny Beresne's lap time
Not on a perfect
coming
momentum
along?
at the moment.
No, you've got the beautiful timing screen, as have I, and as you say, yeah, 28.3. That's nearly a couple of tenths off the fastest first sector we have seen in this session. What's his middle sector going to be like? Is it going to be green? It is, 37.659. That's 0.04 off the fastest that we've seen in the middle sector, but he's lost a lot in that first sector. Can Danny Beresne make up the time? There's only a couple of corners, really, in this final sector. In the Alfa Romeo, Brendan Lee's gone fastest in the middle sector. His former teammate, Danny Beresne, to the line. Can he improve? Goes up to 7th, a 27.505. Now Brendan Lee, former F1 Esports world champion. Can he set a decent time on the board? Goes P7. He'll be reasonably happy with that. Nicolas Longuet, usually a qualifying specialist, only 11th at the moment for him, so a little bit under pressure. Fabrizio Donoso, debut for Ferrari, currently 18th. Where's Donoso going to go? Up to 4th. What a great lap from Fabrizio. That is a brilliant lap from him. Presneda is out in Q1 already. As you can see on your screen, Marcel Kiefer, currently 12th. Round the final corner in that Red Bull, now down to 13th. Really needs to put on a good lap here. Marcel Kiefer comes over the line and stays. Oh, goes up to 12th, sorry. So I think he'll be okay. Jarno Opmeer was 16th, now up to 10th. And that has put Weigang now in the drop zone, but he goes to 13th. And it's Nicolas Longuet, a big scalp for him. Moreno, can he get out of Q1? He does indeed, up to 5th. Marcel Kiefer is now out in Q1. So it's Kiefer, Clay, Longuet, Presneda and Bianca Lila. We have a Red Bull and an Alfa Romeo that we were fully expecting to make out of Q1. Your faith, Nick, tells a story. How surprised are you right now?
Yeah, that's absolutely incredible, isn't it? And this just shows with the new game, with everything going on at the moment, everything's new for everyone resetting, and the likes of Marcel Kiefer and Nicolas Longuet both out in Q1. Wow, we weren't expecting that.
I genuinely cannot believe that. I mean, Longuet has been back-to-back pole setter for both of the last two Sakirs. So to go out in Q1, yeah, it's not the start he would have wanted. Bianca Lila coming back into the Pro Championship. I was hoping he would do well. But yeah, Kiefer, I did not expect that at all.
You want to start the season off well, don't you? And round one being kicked out in Q1, you've got a hell of a job this evening at 7:30 when we go live for the evening show. It's what can you do from there?
And I tell you what, Danny Moreno, he saved it the best till last there.
Yeah.
I was looking at it in 20th and I was thinking, Danny Moreno, they want to set that benchmark, Mercedes, get in the team championship again. And you're thinking, is Danny Moreno going to... Oh, no, he's fine. He's absolutely fine. And Fab Donoso as well.
Yeah, brilliant lap. Brilliant lap in that Ferrari.
You've got to have the confidence to do that, haven't you, as a driver? To be down there, you know, especially for Donoso in a new team, Ferrari, he's got to put that lap together. He's only got one opportunity to do it, but yeah, he did, and what a fantastic job from him there.
Speaking of Donoso, we can take a look at him getting himself out of trouble around the final corner. This was, and Donoso at this point, you're thinking, oh, you know, debut for Ferrari, have the nerves got to him? Well, no is the answer to that. Obviously, the F1 Esports first season runner-up. But the thing is as well, the mentality change for these drivers is that they don't have an extra qualifying session coming up later or anything like that. It's one race a day, and you've now just got to focus on Bahrain. Tomorrow is another day. It's not like you can bounce back and be like, I've had one good quali and one bad one. It's now going to have to be full focus for Bahrain. And there's Longuet, not going to be happy at all with that particular performance. As we said, so used to getting pole position, or at least a top 5.
I mean, he was pole this time last year, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the last 2 seasons, which I think goes to show that sometimes that confidence, bit of form, maybe he's not quite adjusted to the F1 22 game just yet, but the talent's there. We know how good he can be. So hopefully he's able to just put this to one side now and support his teammate, which is Danny Beresne, who the experience he has, and yet 0 points last season. So I feel like that confidence will really be there for Danny Beresne to try and get into Q2.
Yep, as well, Q3. Danny Beresne is in Q2.
He's done it. He's overly confident. Calm down, Danny. No, Q3, which would be a great achievement to hopefully push him back where he probably has high standards of being.
Certainly. So Q2 is underway, as you can see on screen right about now. There is Thomas Ronner, who had a fantastic start to Q1.
So am I correct in saying that, sorry to cut in,
No, that's
am
okay.
I correct in saying that both Haas rookies are into Q2?
You are
Incredibly
absolutely correct. And
Bang on, in fact, Nick. Smashed it.
And in terms of other debut drivers, Sebastian Job still in it again, and proving with Josh Idawu making it through to Q2 that maybe it was the right decision to let Joni Toivola sit out this one.
Thomas Ronart is on a flying lap now, as you can see. Through the first couple of corners, will be brimming with confidence after that Q1 appearance. You might think, pretty quick in pre-season, quick in league racing. Can they convert into F1 Esports? Well, it's a good start for Ronart. How's Q2 going to go for him? We will have to wait and see. Currently we've got Job and Lee in the pits at the moment. They're not rushing to go out there for their first run. But interestingly, the top 5, I think it was from Q1, saving a set of soft tyres. Lucas Blakely just stuck 1 lap out there. No one beat it, even in their second runs, which is a big statement of intent from the newly signed McLaren driver, isn't it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, Lucas has got a lot of confidence, hasn't he, around here? Obviously won here last year, and this was the start of his, I don't know, Lucas Blakely 2.0 almost, being a completely different driver, super consistent, had raw pace. And don't forget the win that he had at the Algarve, Portugal, which was incredible as well.
Dominance. It's probably one of the most dominating performances we've ever seen in esports.
It was. So yeah, Lucas is now brimming with confidence, especially with his new team, McLaren. He'll want to make a big statement with Barry Borromond, obviously, as his teammate, who is definitely fast as well.
So we're getting a couple of lap times on the board, but these will very much be a scrubbed set of soft tyres. If you're wondering why the times have not got better from Q1. Barry Borromond comes over with a 27.6, same for Lucas Blakely. So still 0.3 off what we saw as the optimum lap time. Freddie Rasmussen goes P3, the only Red Bull in Q2, which is a massive shock. But as we said at the top of the show, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be quick on this game because you were quick last time. The characteristics, the new cars, the new regulations means it's a completely different driving style. Heavier cars, more understeer, and it's more about the corner exit than it is anything else, which is completely different to what it was last year. Setups have changed. There's plenty of things that even the teams will learn as we go from race to race. This first set of races, as much as they put a lot of practice in, I'm sure they'll learn from a lot of teams as well about where strategies can work slightly differently, and it's always about not just preparing for round 1, but also analysing what's gone on after the first set of races. And thankfully, they've got a bit more time. Now, they've just got Bahrain today, and then we move on to the next round, then the next round on Friday.
But it's relentless though, isn't it, Matt?
It is.
It's relentless. It doesn't stop. Once the season starts, it doesn't finish. You're constantly focusing, and especially with this new game. And Jarno, let's see how Jarno gets on today. But in Q1, he wasn't topping it like we're used to seeing him do. Usually he looks really, really comfortable and confident. He was down there in P12, potentially getting knocked out if he didn't get the lap together, which fortunately he did. But this is going to be really interesting to see the likes of Otmir and whether he still has that dominance, that raw pace that he's had for the last 2 seasons. And I think it's so exciting for all of us, for everyone watching, everyone a part of it, to have this sort of fresh look and fresh physics for the game and something new to learn.
I don't think it will come as a help for the other F1 Esports drivers that Jarno Otmir did tweet out about last week, saying he actually loves the idea of this format. 1 race, 1 quali a day, he is happy with that, which I think would make, if you're another driver, not Jarno, you're like, oh, hopefully he doesn't like this setup. Oh no, he absolutely loves it. That would be quite worrying for the other drivers, but doing a great job. Also, I'd like to shout out Patrick Sipos. He raced last season for Alpine in about 4 races, picked up 8 points. He's been given a bit more of a leader role in that Alpine team and has made it to Q2 as well, so a bit of a shout out to him.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a few star drivers, aren't there, that we're excited about that are coming through the ranks, and we're currently at the midway point of Q2. Nick, you're a real-life racing driver. Thought I'd drop that in there. Now, I'm not going to say what is it like to be an F1 Esports driver, but what does it take mentally in order to perform lap after lap within, a 10th or whatever? Like, how do you mentally prepare? Because this is very similar to what these teams, these drivers have had to ingrain in their talent is that it's not just about practicing, it's about that mental preparation as well to be able to deliver time after time without any kind of slip up.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to experience. What's great with it being a game for these drivers is that they can continuously, do qualifying runs, run after run, day after day, hour after hour, if they really, really want to. When it comes to racing in real life, British touring cars, for example, there's only 10 weekends for us. We only have 10 qualifying sessions, and we're only in those moments 10 times a year. So it's a lot more difficult, I would say, mentally in real life. But it doesn't take away the fact that this is really, really tough on the drivers that we're watching at the moment. They've put in the hours and the time to make one mistake. It could completely change the complexity of their start of their season. We could see that with Nicolas Longuet, for example. So, even though they've had these hours to practice, it's a lot of stress that's going through their head currently right now, both mentally and physically, because there's a lot of physical work that actually goes into driving these cars on a sim. You can see how much work Danny Beresne puts into his brake pedal. I feel really bad for his brake pedal. I wouldn't want to be his brake pedal. It's mentally challenging for everyone involved, whether you are a real life racing driver or on a sim game.
Manuel Biancolida said to me, in terms of the stresses going into this race today, his only concern was knowing what other people's pace was. And sometimes you can have the best prep, you can feel really good, but when it comes to it in quali, if you just haven't got the pace as everyone else has, you're going to be going out in Q1, and that happened to him today. So you can do all the prep for you, but coming to this race situation, it goes out the window.
I guess as well, it poses the question, how much prep is enough prep if there is an invisible line as to how quick people are? All of these drivers league race together. This isn't the first time they've ever raced, but they're not going to be showing all their cards in pre-season, let's call it. Very difficult sort of job for these drivers to know, all right, that lap time's good, I'm happy with that. Where do you stop? Where do you draw the line?
Yeah, because you can go, sorry, Tom, to cut in, but you could go into qualifying thinking that your best lap that you've done in pre-season is a 27.1, for example. You're feeling good, you think that you could be potentially on pole at the moment, and then I reckon we're going to see lap times in the 26s, but you don't know until Q3. And everyone's going to then show their cards. Look, Freddie Rasmussen already on a 27.0. That's the fastest lap we've seen today. So already, straight away towards the 26s.
Yeah, the cards are coming out, Nick, aren't they, now? Freddie Rasmussen's shown his hand, a 27.0. That is definitely the fastest time we have seen so far. Thomas Ronart was very strong in Q1. How does he look? He's got the fastest middle sector of anybody, very comparable to Rasmussen through the first. This could well trouble the top of the times. He goes P2. Thomas Ronart, that's a great lap from him. Lucas Blakely goes third. So doesn't get to the top of the timesheets for this particular quali session at the moment, but still a very good lap time. It's a McLaren 3-4. Who's under pressure? Sipos, Moreno, Caraton, Stalkalek and Job. Job has not set a lap time just yet. And in fact is not on a lap at the moment either, if this live timing is anything to go by. Freddie Rasmussen, he'll be coming into the pits after this. So lots of drivers on their slowdown laps, but right now, Beresne as well. We were speaking about him, his struggles last year, seems to have bounced back quite nicely. It was quite a sad story to watch Beresne, who we were quite excited to see back and wasn't really able to extract the pace, but it's been a good start at least to qualifying so far.
Yeah, it was hard to watch, wasn't it? We've seen pictures of Danny, being really sad and upset. So it's great to see that Alfa Romeo have still put a lot of confidence.
It's that
him.
faith in him.
Yeah,
to say, look, you didn't get any points last year. That was with McLaren in 2021. He had the teammates of Josh Adawu, Barry Boeremon, Alfa Romeo in the 2019 and 2020 season, driving with the likes of Jarno Opmeer. I mean, this guy has had teammates with the best of the best out there. Brendan Lee to begin his career in F1 Esports. But yeah, he's back there. 40 race starts, 393 points. He knows how to win. He's had 5 of them. It's just how does he extract that out of himself.
Yeah.
And hopefully this game and the mechanics and the heavier car helps him get back there.
Yeah, it's sort of given him a new lease of life, and it's great to see him consistently, in the top 10 in Q2. Obviously, he's going to be under pressure, like everybody is, I would say, from 5th downwards. But Danny Berezne is now doing the job that we are so used to see him doing consistently.
Absolutely. It is that mental edge that some of these drivers have, right? I think it's clear from what a lot of the F1 Esports drivers say is that everyone on their day, whether it's at home doing some practice or whatever, can do probably what the fastest time is. But the problem is setting it within those 18, 15, 12 minutes, whatever it is, that window of 1 or 2 sets of soft tyres, that's it. You have 1 or 2 goes maximum. That's the level of pressure that this F1 Esports.
And don't forget track limits as well, which are very, very, very
So
strict. Very strict.
You're like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
I didn't gain any time there.
The interesting, Simon Weigang, I always mention him every quali show I've ever been on, so why buck that trend? Now moved to Aston Martin, 28 race starts, I believe. Said quite an interesting thing I noticed on Twitter, that in F1 Esports, from P8 to P12 is probably the worst place to be stuck in, because it's a real battle. Those pushing to get into the top 10 to get some points for their team, and those just holding on to a position. And it's great to see that he could be, at the moment, as things stand, heading into Q3, but always that driver there or thereabouts. And it's just quite interesting that you do not want to be sort of going out in Q2 towards there, because you're going to be fighting to get a point. It's going to be so difficult.
That's the thing, right? Especially if you're 11th and below and you're going into the race, you've got nothing to lose. You've got no points for finishing 11th. So they are going to go for moves. But the thing is, we've seen many years now, DRS
train.
And if they fight too hard and they drop off the back of the front 9 or 10, then it doesn't really matter. And they've lost the points anyway because they can't get onto the back of it. And then you've got to think about ERS deployment. Where do you use that? Because a lot of the time we saw Freddie Rasmussen, for example, use it really well in Silverstone, where he saved up his battery till the last lap and then passed Danny Moreno. But if you're using your battery battling for 11th or 12th place, then you drop off the back of the front 10, then you're in big trouble. As we're now taking a look at Brendan Lee, one of the first drivers to go on a flying lap. This is the final laps here in Q2. At the moment, Sipos, Moreno, Caraton, Stalkalek and Job will be going out if they do not improve. And Freddie Rasmussen, the only driver at the moment in the 1 minute 27.0.
Lee goes fastest in the first sector.
Yeah, that is a very nice first sector. It's been beaten by his teammate Donoso, though, hasn't it? Fabrizio Donoso's on a great lap. We're now taking a look at Danny Berezne.
It's now been beaten by Sipos in the first sector.
Lots of improvements coming out in qualifying too.
I know that we're in the really exciting moment, Matt, but you never forget the first ever F1 Esports championship, the finger wag of Fab Donoso from Brendan Lee. They were battling it out and now teammates. I don't think that's been mentioned yet, but those guys have got history together, but they're getting the best out of each other as a team today.
Well, let's see if they can make it through to Q3. Danny Berezne, he had the fastest middle sector, but that's been beaten by Donoso again. The track is ramping up serious amounts here at the end of Q2. Danny Berezne, currently 9th. He's going to have a significant improvement here if he wants to feel comfortable to make it through to the top 10 in Q3. Danny Berezne over the line, goes 6th fastest. Is that going to be enough? There's a lot of improvements going on behind him. One of them being Alvaro Caraton. Sebastian Job hasn't set a lap time yet, but he's fastest in the first sector. This could change massively. Danny Berezne down to 8th already. Alvaro Caraton pushes him down to 9th. Caraton goes P6. Sebastian Job has not set a lap time yet, but goes P1. What a lap time from Sebastian Job. Jarno Otmir is now under pressure. P12 for him. Stalkalek, P15. Danny Moreno, your Otmir's teammate, in 14th. And we see an improvement there for Jarno Otmir. Goes 7th. May that be enough? I think so. Berezne's out. Lee is out. Idowu is going to be out. Stalkalek cannot get out of Q2 either. Danny Moreno, the only driver here that will be able to push Caraton out of Q2. Where does Moreno go? P4. So that is a great lap from Danny Moreno. Freddie Rasmussen moves into the 1 minute 26s, and that is Caraton, Lee, Idowu, Berezne and Stalkalek. So after us hyping up Berezne, And that kind of just sums up qualifying as a whole for F1 Esports, right? He came over the line, one of the first drivers in his final run in Q2, went P6. You're like, oh, you got a good chance. Finishes 14th.
Yeah.
Last
man over the line.
Yeah, they're all big hitters there. Well, I say that with Brendan Lee out, Berezhny, Karaton. He said he wants to really help Williams. I mean, they finished 8th in terms of the team championship last year, get some points on the board. With Shanaka Clay going out in Q1, and now Alvaro Karaton, I'll say it properly, going out in Q2. It's put Williams on the back foot already. But hey, those are other storylines that we can chat about later. But there's some shocks there for me.
So, Tom, I've been told in my ear...
Oh, whoa. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. This is the first day back.
We've signed a last-minute deal with
wow.
a very important lead commentator.
Hang on, let me just put my pen away. There we go. Hey, listen.
You can stay, but I've got someone...
I thought you were bidding me.
No, well, I thought I was bidding you too, but I'm not. Alex Jakes is joining us once again, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
My word.
The only reason he's doing it is because he was promised a walkout.
Ah, look at it.
Oh, the hair. Oh, the flick as well.
Look at it.
I have no idea where you're sat.
Go.
I was ready to go. Actually, I was exerting myself too much.
It's fine.
You look far too excited that you were leaving, but look at that. Look, 2 people sharing a sofa. How are you guys?
This is like a little soiree. People come over to your house and there's just not enough room on the sofa.
Yeah.
You've got that awkward.
It's a little bit awkward, but it's, you know, if you make one wrong... OK, it's fine.
It might get more awkward when Alex goes into full Q3 commentary as well.
Yeah.
So you
When
might
he starts
No, I
to
move
sit
around a
forward,
lot.
get in the
Yeah.
way.
A lot. You're in for a lot of fun. The viewer, who knows?
Yeah, to be fair, we did think it was a little bit of a waste to see you eating crisps over there. We're like, we should probably
That
get
was really
Alex
nice.
involved
Salmon sandwich,
in
good.
Q3. Yeah.
Chicken sandwich, also good. Crisps, fantastic.
Wow.
Also, really enjoyed it.
He had a sandwich live on air. So
Broadcasting's absolutely terrific when you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
what did you make of Q1 and Q2, Alex? Sat in the audience?
I made lots and lots of it. Making my way up there, I have to say, I'm excited for Q3. And that's where I'd leave the questioning.
OK, well, we are waiting for Q3. And in the drivers that will be participating, Buraman Donoso.
I will give you a serious answer. It's really disappointing for Marcel Kiefer. The consistency of Red Bull, kind of in the bin with that. The good news for him, 50% races. Got a little bit more time to dig himself out of the hole.
Big hole, though, because it's
sizable.
Q1. Out in Q1, that's a big scalp for him. But in Q3, is that are you stretching?
No,
or is that a hand
I wanted
up?
to make a... I wanted to say something.
Oh, go on.
Pick me.
Yes, Nick.
I love the fact it's turned into raise your hand to speak because there are 4 of us.
I wanted to point out that Donoso has out-qualified Brendan Lee in his first qualifying session for Ferrari. Yep, Donoso actually into Q3, and Brendan Lee didn't make Q3, which is a shame for him.
And we questioned that Ferrari decision. We went, oh, OK, Tanitsa.
We did.
Not being picked.
We did.
But if anything, we should have been questioning why Brendan Lee was in the team.
Yes, and also Thomas Ronner, into Q3 for the first time.
Now, I've been told we can actually take a look at Sebastian Job's lap because it was a scorcher. So let's take a look at where he made up the time. And look, I mean, that is just glorious. When you see that green delta, you know you're onto something.
Do you see that very often?
Well, yeah, because I'm improving on a very slow lap. So. But you can see that a quarter of a second up, and he's gaining. He just has a slight better exit than his previous lap.
Look at that line into the final corner. Outrageous, as wide as possible.
Look at that, he gained another 10th on the way out as well. Geez, 3/10, amazing lap.
Rescher as well. He had no lap time on the board and just goes, you know what, I'm going to go fastest. Easy.
Look at the amount of fluid he's taking on board. He knew he was going into Q3, or maybe dangerously. Sebastian Job, 9 race starts last season, 17 points in total, 1 podium in Brazil, and a 5th finish in Monza. But yeah, flying the flag for AlphaTauri.
It's unfortunate. His podium finish in Brazil always gets, because Brazil's the ending, always gets overshadowed by the champion. So Mr. Deacon coming up with the goods there, and not for the first time.
Finally, that notepad has got some good things in it.
Well. I've got some great... I've also got to write at the front, if found, £50 reward. You reckon that's enough or too much?
Wow, £50 for your secrets. That is, that's something. Right, Q3's underway.
Hello.
And thankfully, we have got Alex Jakes here. So...
Why, are we not good enough?
Yeah,
you tell him.
What's going on?
Well, it's very busy.
I
It's
thought
very
you were
busy.
doing a decent job, right?
Wow.
And I don't know. No,
stretch.
like decent job. It's fine. Why did you all take it so badly?
Decent.
Decent's not a nice sort
Yeah,
of...
it's like fine.
And fine is a great compliment.
It's also the word with nice. When someone says you're nice, what does that mean?
Yeah.
It's basically a dig.
Next time I'm told in my ear, introduce Alex Jakes, I might just ignore it. I might just leave you up there,
Can I just say,
waiting to do the walk.
Best moment of the entire time that I've had in F1 Esports.
I hope that's
The
clipped
stairwell.
up, you coming down the stairs, the hair
Looking-
flick, everything.
Looking smug and in need of a haircut.
The hair
Should we
flick
get
was
to
incredible.
the laps at the limit? Because that's why I've been brought down those stairs.
Yeah, why not? Go on,
Should
sip
we
off.
do it?
I mean, these are going to be used tyres, I think.
Yeah. I said laps at the limit, so it's not laps at the limit, so we'll just carry on talking nonsense.
Let's keep talking about the hair flick.
Yeah.
No, Sipos is out there on a lap, but as Nick quite rightly says, scrub set of tyres for Sipos. However,
Used sets, not scrub. Scrub's
Scrub?
different to used. No,
Scrub?
no.
Used?
No, they're not. Different.
what's the difference?
Different. So a scrub set of tyres is when you put a new set of tyres on and you go and do a heat cycle with them.
Which is technically what they've done. It's qualifying, right? That's a lap.
No, but it's a used.
come in?
No, but it's a used. So these are used sets because they've done flying laps on them.
Hey, Nick, don't anger him. He's got a golf club set somewhere, ready to go and play
time
outside.
shows?
This is
Oh,
What
here we
time
go.
is tee off?
Here we
Yeah,
go.
exactly.
We missed the memo, clearly.
Matthew.
God.
Who invited all these?
If you're unsure of what we're referencing, it's a lovely little top you've gone for, which does look as if you are going to play golf. But I like golf, so there's not an issue
Hold on,
there,
hold
is
on,
it?
hold on. Who asked for your opinion? Oh, no, I don't remember. Right, anyway, Q3 is definitely underway, and Sipos is on a used set of soft tyres.
Used.
There we go.
Well
Or
done.
a double scrubbed, I'm going to call it. It's too, So Sipos comes over the line to start his flying lap. Not expecting for him to break any track records, that's for sure. Barry Burramund, qualifying specialist. Some of these drivers will have saved a new set of softs to go for 2 bites of the cherry, and Barry Burramund has that right now, 27.370. Not troubling the 26s, just some commentary.
Do some
No,
commentary.
can I, if you were to choose one of us to be your caddy, Matt, who would
This
you
is
choose?
Q3, Tom Deacon. This is conversation for
We're going to
Q1.
have to issue some sort of form of
I thought I'd just take a
apology.
swing
Great.
at that.
Trust me, it's the start of the season, Tom. You don't want to be racking up those. I will make the rest of your appearances.
Blakely on a 26.9. Just wanted to.
Big lap from Blakely. And again, that shows that Blakely, Ronar were able to save a set of soft tyres. Otmir was not. 27.6 foot, the Mercedes and reigning champion. Freddie Rasmussen just misses out and goes P2, but that's a big statement of intent from Blakely.
It is, and given that he was a winner around here last year, given the fact that Freddie Rasmussen has looked rapid all day, the margin between them doesn't look a lot, but Blakely will be delighted with that. Blakely, Rasmussen, Ronar, and then Barry Borremund, Sebastian Job, who we saw his lap earlier on. And there's the reigning champion down in 6th, which, given the form that we've seen for him throughout the last couple of years, minor shock, mini shock, only after the first runs, though. There we are. What, did you enjoy that commentary, Matt?
Loved it.
There we
No,
are.
absolutely loved it. I think Otmir, not known for his qualifying,
No, it's true.
not known. I mean, his race pace has been where he's won championships, and his strategy and being able to pull out.
You don't want to keep giving the others a chance, though, because
You do for entertainment.
well,
for
yeah,
us.
for us, yeah, selfishly, yeah, of course. But you know, if you leave a weakness on the table, I feel in F1 Esports eventually someone's going to take you up on it.
Certainly. Hasn't yet. Two-time champ for
Yeah.
Jarno Otmir.
I mean, in the last 2 years, no, he's been fantastic.
But maybe this year. Maybe this
Formula
year.
One Esports has issued the following statement.
So yeah, we've got a lot of drivers on their cool-down lap now. No lap time set for Donoso or Sipos. They decided against
Playing it cool.
Yeah, perhaps their first run was not
And we
to
saw
their liking.
Sipos out there, didn't we?
We did, yeah. Must have made some sort of mistake. No point setting a lap time that has any error, really, because you just won't be anywhere near the front. So they've decided against it in the pits, preparing for one final run in Q3. So it's Blakely, Rasmussen, Ronar, Burramund, Job, your top 5. Jarno Otmir, we're used to seeing him qualifying around 6th and then winning, but he'll want to just eke a little bit further ahead for the first race of the season this evening. Weigand's done a great job making it through to Q3 for the first race. Moreno there again. Donoso will be happy just to make Q3 for Ferrari and out-qualify Brendan Lee, as you said, Nick. And then Sipos, I know he said he hasn't set a lap time, but he's in Q3.
Yeah, I think he'll be delighted with that. But all of them now, knowing that this is where give yourself the foundation for a good season. All of the hours, getting to grips with a new game. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where you can announce yourself. Lucas Blakely did it last year, and he took it all the way through the season. If you're on the back foot, Jarno Opmeer can't see a 6th turn into a 10th. I would say Blakely and Rasmussen, if they stay on that front row and Jarno Opmeer drops down to 10th place, he's got a tall task, even with the form that he's been in the last couple of years. Barry Burman, we've seen him perform all the time over one lap, and you've got to say, P3, I don't think many people expected that. So if he can carry that on, that's a big headline at the end of quali.
Yeah, Ronald's had blistering pace in some of the league racing I've watched, but as I said, to deliver on the day is another story, and right now he is definitely in with a shot of getting pole position. Here's Sipos. Outlap at the moment for him. I've been told, Alex Jakes, it is now commentator time for you. It is all you. Yes, let's go.
That's the 2 minute
Let's
warning
turn you up
for
to
me
10.
to do some actual work. Here we go then. And Sipos, we were on board with him earlier on, taking that wide line, dipping down the hill, and then apply the power as early as you dare. So he's on the outlap. He's trying to get the tyres into the temperature window. He knows he's only got one chance, or he's mid-pack. Not where anyone wants to be, especially when that Alpine team has been so competitive around this circuit in the last year. He knows he's got a team around him that know the setup, that know the way to get to the front. Can he deliver when it matters? Donoso's going to be in the same boat that he is in as well. Danny Moreno will be not thrilled with 8th place. He's got lofty standards. Same applies to Jarno Opmeer. I think Weigang will be on the happier side of things. I have just been handed the iPad with the sectors. That's how serious it's getting. That's how serious it's getting. We're waiting for the last laps at the limit. 70 seconds to go. Who's going to deliver? Who's going to have to make use of that extra time that they've got in the races? It's going to be fascinating to see. This is going to be remarkable stuff now. Okay, it counts now. This is where it is game on. This is where it matters. And it's Sipos that we're focusing on. Everyone else on the outlap as well. Lucas Blakely with the time to beat as we send it through. Quick as you like, you're heading up to the ever controversial turn 4. You've got to be careful about extending as we go up through the gears. We're in 8th as we go wider still. Probably couldn't do that in the real thing. Probably unsettle the car, but that is expertly judged. It's tidy. Is it fast? It's time on the board that puts him in contention. You can continue that. He's going to be looking around the 5th place mark, but it's easier said than done around these sectors. This is the corner where it can all come undone. 9 doesn't really exist in the driver's concentration. It's slightly wide of the apex, and then all the momentum you lose there, costing you meters further and further down the track. The checkered flag is being prepared on the main straight, and it's Sipos who's out there at this moment in time, hoping to worry those ahead. Blakely, Rasmussen, Ronhart, then Barry Borman, Sebastian Job, Jarno Opmeer currently at the front. It's a tidy lap, it's an accomplished lap, but it's Sipos who's going for it. We're focusing with him all the way around, then we'll check you in on the other sector signs. The timing page is a sea of personal bests, of improvement out there. In fact, the only driver that hasn't improved in the first sector is our current provisional pole man. That's Lucas Blakely. Sipos to try and challenge the order, and he did maintain the deficit all the way round, but he finds himself tidy lap. He'll be pleased with that, into the top 5. That's the good news for him. The bad news for him is that absolutely everyone else is improving. Personal best, Sector 1, Sector 2 for almost anyone, apart from Blakely, but Blakely at the front of the field finds himself with the fastest middle sector of anyone. His teammate Barry Borman has gone to the front of the page. Borman, Blakely, Jarno Opmeer, the champion, is up then to 4th place. Here comes the man who was first before. He's first again. Over the line, Sebastian Job in 8th position. Can anyone upset what is a McLaren Shadow 1-2 at the moment? Blakely, Burman, Rasmussen, and Donoso has gone over the line. Ronald to the front row. Superb lap to deliver for Haas. Underdogs no more, but it's Lucas Blakely's day. Our winner from last year has taken pole for the first race of the season.
Love that, absolutely love that. What a lap from Blakely, and Thomas Ronner take a bow on the front row of the grid. McLaren will be very, very happy with that. 1st and 3rd, Freddie Rasmussen, dangerous from 4th. Jarno Opmeer, P5, he can take that and build from there. Ahead of his teammate Danny Moreno. Then you've got Simon Weigang, Fabrizio Donoso, Patrick Sipos and Sebastian Job. What an end to qualifying that was. As we always know, it comes down right to the last second. But the gap's actually a bit bigger than expected.
I think that's the main headline. The fact that last year, when it was nickel and dime stuff and it was hardly anything across the line, you're looking at hundredths of a second, Tom, on there, and now suddenly it's turned into sizable gaps like the real thing.
Right, I've now been told we're going to see a hot lap from start to finish. So let's take a look at what it is like to go on board with Lucas Blakely for pole position. Nick, tell us where potentially he makes up the time.
So definitely into turn one, it's all about stopping it and maximising traction here through this left kink. It's really hard to get traction here, but it seems to get that absolutely perfect. And you can see this line they do on the left, on the entry here. You wouldn't really do this in real life, but we use this to our advantage in the game. And then we run all the way over the left-hand side curb there. Sling it left, sling it right. Then this left should be flat, 100% flat, and then get it stopped nice and tidy on the brakes. And you'll see they'll upshift to fourth to maximise traction, bring it over to the right. This is where it's hard to lock that, or easy, sorry, to lock that inside front left. We get it stopped nice and easy. Good on traction, good on the power as well. And now with the DRS fully wide open, we're going to send it right a little bit to open up the entry. Turns it in, misses his apex a slight touch there, but we're still on for a personal best. We sling it right now, absolutely flat out here, and this is hard. It's a blind entry with the apex, but we hook it up nice and simply, and now down the back straight. We can see we're up a little bit, but it's down to the final corner. Sling it right, hit the apex, get on the power, up to fifth, and it's easy to do that, and that is 100% a great lap for Lucas Blakely.
Wasn't expecting to hear it.
That scared the life out of me. But that was.
I thought that was Nick. I was like, how are you doing that with your voice? It's like.
Right, we've got some pictures of Thomas Ronar, who had an amazing qualifying session, his first ever, and P2 on the grid for the Haas driver. And he can be very, very happy about that. And let's see what his reaction was like. I'm hoping he's not gone over the line yet. I think he's going around the final corner, if that steering wheel is anything to go by. He knows he's on a good lap, concentrating all the way. Oh, no, he's still turning. So that's another, I don't know where the reaction is.
Yeah, but it's well folded. Those shelves, well folded.
I knew you wouldn't be able to leave that alone.
Tom Deacon loves the background. No matter who he interviews, you assess the background.
I did, well,
just rating
not much was happening there, so I was like, yeah, this man's tidy. It's tidy. It's a tidy
lap,
tidy shelves.
Thank you. And the thing is, with Haas last year, they got a total, check this out, telling me about hundreds, 10 points last season in the team championship. If he finishes second, 18, thank you very much. Job's done. Thomas Ronar, the new Haas legend.
The new, wow. Titled. Amazing.
Oh, good lap. He deserves it.
Yeah, legend. Tidy it was.
Not everyone can perform, unfortunately, in this first qualifying session. And Marcel Kiefer was one of those who will be left wanting after this quali session and did not make it out of Q1 in that Red Bull. And a lot of work to do, Alex, from there on the grid.
There is, and he's a proven race winner. He's formidable combination along with Freddie Rasmussen. So unlike him, and then given the gaps that we saw later in qualifying, I wonder if there's a specific thing that's gone wrong for him there, because very much unlike him, and now a lot of work to do, he's going to have to go aggressive with the strategy.
We've got a fantastic grid lined up. Let's take a look at what this evening has to offer. And it's 7:30 p.m. You can join Mr. Tom Deacon on the main desk. I know.
What, tonight?
Yeah, we're surprised too.
So yeah, Bahrain will be our first and only race, as we are now spread over 3 days. Thank you to Mr. Nick Hamilton, Alex Jakes and Tom Deacon. What did you want to say as I was doing my outro?
Make sure you get your card into the clubhouse so they know your score.
You've set up the season beautifully. Thanks, Tom. And on that note, we'll leave you there. So we'll see you this evening for round 1 in Bahrain.
4!
2021 was the closest season ever.
It is time for a new season.
Dramas at every turn.
Lucas Blakely takes the opening win of the year.
Breakout campaigns.
Barry Beaumont, the one to watch.
Team tactics.
Oh, they nearly collide.
High-stakes gambles.
This whole race has gone up in smoke. They're making contact again.
It all came down to the wire.
Ogmir versus Rasmussen for the championship.
Freddie Rasmussen wins the British Grand Prix.
And you are watching one of the great drives of F1 Esports completed.
This season,
will be even better.
That is unbelievable from the Mercedes driver.
Pure drama at Imola. Over the line, guess what? Battle for the lead on the last lap.
What a race, probably the best race I've ever seen for F1 Esports. Take about every single one of those drivers.
And the moment's arrived. Jarno Opmeer is the F1 Esports champion of 2021.